Well, I'll start off introducing myself. I'm Nick Horner with the Valley City Police Department. I'm the police chief. I've been officially in this position for just over a year now. I'm here to talk to you about scams and different types of scams and some of the scams that we see around Valley City here. One of the first few things that I'm just going to touch on is scam artists or people who try to scam you out of money, uh, information, or stuff like that, like to pretend to be people that you would trust. So they're going to pretend to be law enforcement. They're going to pretend to be a family member. They're going to pretend to be, a bank executive or somebody of high-ranking official or stuff like that to try to coax you into trusting them. So then they can get your information or coax you into providing money. One thing that also comes up is with technology, how it is nowadays. Anybody can change their cell phone number by the use of a computer. So if you see a phone number that you would trust in the past or something like that, scam artists and stuff like that have been able to generate phone numbers from your local area. So it'll come up with a local area code, 845 number or something like that. So it seems like it's a legit phone number where it's somebody talking in a headset microphone, changing the number to whatever they want to try to fool you. If you are ever asked to send money or a wire transfer or to get prepaid cash cards to give them numbers, that is one of the most common scams that we're seeing out there. Is they coax people into they've won a large inheritance of money through some sort of giveaway, but to be able to get it, they have to provide credit card numbers or stuff like that, and people aren't familiar with how they work, so they'll go buy Walmart gift cards or any other major retailer gift card where you can get up to like $500 gift cards and provide the information code to the scammer either through internet or by phone, and then they take the money after they purchase it, and the card is relatively useless after that. So whenever asked for an over internet transaction or over the phone transaction, be extremely hesitant unless you know the person directly, but 9 times out of 10 it's going to be a scammer trying to swindle you out of some money. A lot of times if somebody is trying to call you and you believe it may be a scam, they will often ask you to press 1 to be taken off the call list. A lot of times by doing this, they'll engage you into pressing a number, which on their end grants them access to, say, charge your phone bill with an extra fee or something like that. So if they ask you to start drawing out the process by press 1 to take off the call list or something that just sounds a little bit odd, instead of trying to get off the call list, just hang up, end the phone call, and then don't buy into the ploy that they're trying to do. Make sure that your in-home computers and work computers have antivirus. That's one thing that people often overlook when getting a new device because they're just so excited to use it. Make sure it has antivirus. They have a lot of anti-scam, a lot of anti-spam software in the antiviruses nowadays. I already have it. Be aware of lookalike websites. That's another one that we're having, to where you mistype an extra letter or something like that into a website. Make sure that everything looks kosher. All the links are valid when you start clicking on things, so it doesn't just send you to an error screen. What we've had is somebody's been trying to get onto Facebook, but they put too many O's into the Facebook, so they have 3 O's instead of 2 O's. Well, somebody will create a spoof website that looks like Facebook and try to get your login information by you trying to log into it. But if you were to look at some of the minor details, it'll look a little bit different until Facebook can find that there's a spoof one and then request to get it taken down. So just be always aware that you're typing the right URL and web code when entering your regular sites, and everything looks good when you're entering them. One of the other scams that come around that we end up having a lot is fake law enforcement scams, to where somebody calls you or sends you a message saying, hey, you have a warrant for your arrest, or you have unpaid citation of $10. If you do not take care of it, we'll suspend your license right away, you'll get a warrant, and we're going to come take you to jail. At no point is any law enforcement ever going to threaten you or make demands for money over the phone. We don't do that. We show up in person, we talk to you, We make sure that it's a good interaction and stuff like that. We're never going to threaten you that we're going to take you to jail in lieu of money or any other consequence. We have a lot of IRS enforcement call scams saying, we need your social security number, stuff like that. Otherwise, you're not going to get your tax return. Try not to ever give up your social security number over the phone unless it's a trusted vendor and you know what you're doing. But somebody calling you out of the blue, demanding your social security number, your bank info or anything like that, never trust them. Like I said, they're going to try to bully you into believing they're, say, an accountant at your law firm or at your bank or something like that, and they need your information to, iron out some issue they have. Make arrangements to go into the bank, make arrangements to go into talk to them in person and not give out the information over the phone. That's always going to be the best practice. Another one we've had come across our desk is a grandparent scam, to where somebody calls in the middle of the night trying to prey on elderly individuals and stuff like that, claiming to be a family member, that they're in jail, they need bond money, they don't want to involve their siblings or their parents, and they want it to, stay quiet. They try to prey on it and say, hey, you remember me, draw out the person's name, and then they feed into the whole plan. Be careful with any phone calls you receive at any time of the day. If the person is claiming to be a family member or something else, ask, questions that only that family member would know, but don't give in to, close answers or anything like that to, you remember me or stuff like that, and give them some sort of information that they can try to pretend to be a grandchild or any other family member. We briefly touched on sweepstakes scams earlier. We get quite a few of those of people calling saying, you've won a large sum of money, give us information so we can wire it to you. If it sounds too good to be true, 9 times out of 10 it is, without any other sort of paperwork backup or any other heads up that you're winning some sort of allotment that you definitely should have applied for. If you get money out of thin air, it's going to be too good to be true. Most likely it's going to be a scam. We've also had romance scams to where they try to befriend people or create relationships with individuals, and they try to prey on individuals who say maybe looking for companionship or anything like that, friendships and stuff. What they'll do is make friends, and they're very upfront and nice in the beginning of the conversations through social medias, phone interactions, emails, and stuff like that. But then they need money to come visit you. They need a wire transfer to help them out so they can continue talking, or need to pay the bill so they can continue messaging or calling the person. Always be careful of those kind of situations. If you're worried about that, talk to your family, close friends and stuff like that, and get a second opinion on if something sounds a little bit fishy.
So, is that at all age levels, or is it very more?
I've seen it at all age levels, to where late teens to all the way up to old elderly age. But it's that is more of a scam of emotion, to where they're trying to prey on people who may have been in a tough situation. And what they do is they cast a wide net and look for the one fish that is looking to bite, because they'll just keep calling as many numbers as they can until they get one person that feeds into it. And hope it doesn't happen to be anybody who's listening to this right now. One thing that we've been having right now lately is online classified ad scams, to where people are on Facebook Marketplace and they try to sell something and want the money up front, or hey, I'll have somebody else drop it off to you tomorrow, can you send me the money? This is one of those deals where sometimes it works out, but a lot of times it's you're going to be out money if you're sending money beforehand. You always want to meet the person, or say, hey, the transaction has to happen in person or something like that. So be very careful through any sort of marketplace, Facebook Marketplace, Times, different newspapers that have advertising for selling items. Be very careful with it. We have safety zones in front of the police department where you can meet up at Barnes County Corrections. They have online exchange things to where everything's on camera so you can be in a safe space, do your transaction, and then go your separate ways of, exchanging a property and funds. We've lately we've had rental and house purchasing scams happening around the area, to where these online scammers are getting pictures of houses that are for sale on different rental websites, or say, can't think of it, house purchasing websites, to where they're looking to list their house for sale. They're taking the pictures and then trying to contact people, putting it out on the web at really good prices to try to entice people who are looking for someplace to stay or rent. And what they're doing is asking for money up front to hold the residence, to hold the rental until they can come see it and then make the agreement. We've had it to where people's houses are listed, and then they're trying to say they're already sold to try to get money to unsell their house and stuff like that. So if you see anything to where anybody needs payment to hold on to something, it should be through a valid rental company or a valid house sale website or anything like that, and always do it in person and never anything online or over the phone. One other scam, I got a lot of them. One other scam that we've had is computer and tech support scams, to where they may send you an email that is fishy. You click into it, it'll put something up on your screen of saying you're infected, call here, or click into this to continue to get rid of the issue that pops up on your screen. So this is going to be computer and tech support scams, to where they gain access into your computer by you accidentally clicked on the link. They may call you and say, hey, this is tech support, I'm here to help you, this is what you do, and then they end up putting scam software in the form of an antivirus that they're having you install to fix the issue on your computer that ends up giving out personal information, stuff like that. So if you haven't prompted or sought out any sort of tech support, be very careful on where you're choosing. Usually you can take it into a place in person, but make sure it's a very reliable tech support program or somebody who you're familiar with before you allow them access into your computer and your personal records or installing files. Talking back on if it's too good to be true, it's most likely too good to be true. Foreign lotteries, we've had a few cases to where, not so much, but back in my earlier days of starting here 13 years ago, they won a jackpot in a company holding that is based out of another country. So it's a foreign lottery to where they believe, hey, I won money for participating in whatever company it is. They selected me once again. If it sounds too good to be true, it most likely is. And then also the too good to be true, make sure that if somebody calls and saying you're the beneficiary of some sort of estate or money or anything like that, make sure that you know the person that you're getting the beneficiary from, and make sure it goes through the proper legal process, attorneys to be able to do that. What we have is had scams saying your grandpa died, and then they try to fish for information from people or anything that they can run with. Say, was it Grandpa Jerry or was it Grandpa Bill? And well, I haven't talked to Bill in forever. It's like, yeah, it was Grandpa Bill. And then they build on from that, saying that they have a car to give you, but we need money up front to be able to ship it to you. Or you have an estate, we need to do this, but we need this money in back taxes before we can give it to you. So just make sure that you're not giving information to unknown individuals to be able to build a story or something like that to try to scam you and give them information. And that is about all I have for right now. If anybody has any quick questions, I know I go a little bit quick and I talk fast, but that is about it. Always use secure information, have antivirus and stuff on your computers. Verify any sort of deals that you make online, and use trusted safe zone pickups to make sure that you're safe when you're doing an online transaction like a Facebook Marketplace. And make sure that you just double check and recheck and check with your friends before making agreements with anybody online or over the phone.
So what do people do when they get scammed? Do they come to you? Do they go
Yes. There's a few things. Thank you for asking that. There's a few things you can do if you get scammed and you lose the money. Come report it to your local law enforcement. We'll create a report for it, and most likely you're gonna have to freeze your accounts, freeze stuff like that. Talk to your local bank that you use and freeze their accounts. They'll be able to advise you on some of those credit stop your credit sites and stuff like that that you can use to be able to freeze it so it doesn't hurt your credit, holds your bank accounts, and freeze all of your credit cards and other assets. If you believe that you are somebody that has been tried to get a scam, you can go online to the Attorney General website, and they have a report the scam on there, and they have a team that works on it, trying to get the most recent scam types and stuff like that, and work on a case with the FBI and stuff like that to stop the scams in, say, the big call centers in other areas in other countries that are trying to prey on individuals. But if you do fall victim to a scam, contact your local law enforcement. We'll make a report, investigate it to the best of our ability, and hopefully be able to freeze the funds before, if we can, or track down the funds before they get anywhere, and then go from there and then kind of point you in the right direction to get your life back in order. All of this information is also available on the Attorney General website, and they have several different lines, areas that you can get help and information and report scams and stuff like that.
I just have a question. Some of the AT people I know are now saying that if you get a text message and if you don't know who it is, a lot of people are answering them, like carrying on a conversation. And after so many times, by sending a text back to them, they actually can get, with their software, can actually get into your phone system now.
We've had some cases like that. I haven't ran into answering and being in a conversation, but I've seen it to where they'll engage in a conversation, send you a link to be able to view something, say a picture that they're trying to send. So it'll come up and look like a picture that's not downloading, and you click on the picture to try to download it, and then that grants them access into your phone or any information and stuff like that. So if you are having conversations with unknown individuals and they're trying to send that, make sure you verify who they are beforehand or end the conversation before you accept any sort of link to go to another location or download a program and stuff like that. I haven't seen any that go by just how many contacts you have, but it's usually generated by a conversation that leads into something that they can get a link into it, or something that looks like it hasn't downloaded with the conversation, so they can get access into your system.
And then another person I know in Michigan, he received an email saying that we found pictures of you engaged in certain things, and we know your family doesn't want to see these.
Yes.
So if you want these to be destroyed, send money.
Yes.
Is
that is a case. We've had a few of those kind of cases to where they pry into your personal life to try to blackmail you, saying if you do not want to see these spread out to your family and stuff like that, give us money, or we're going to show everybody, and to try to guilt you into not wanting to get whatever they have spread out in the world. We've seen that on several cases. If you are a victim of that, I highly recommend coming and speaking with law enforcement. As bad as you may feel about it, speaking with us, we're able to help shut down what's going on before it goes too far, because they will try to gain a little bit, and once they get a little bit, then they're going to push for more and more. A lot of that we've seen also with the romance scams, to where they pretend to be somebody, elicit a conversation and all this kind of stuff. They send stuff back and forth and claim to be another person after so long, or say the person may have disappeared and you ruined this person's life, and it's say like a father figure or a friend saying, hey, you ruined this person's life, we need this to compensate for it, or you're going to get in trouble. If you're ever confused or worried about any of that, contact your local law enforcement, and we can kind of advise the best course of action.
So if people get information, get in the emails or stuff like that, should we bring those to you, even if we don't click on them or do that? Or?
Just mark it as spam through your website provider. They have phishing reports to where you can report it as a phishing email, which is a scam report or something like that, and it'll send it to your internet provider's IT team, and they can flag it to where it'll go in your junk, so you don't get it. You don't have to report every one of them to us, but if you go onto the North Dakota Attorney General website, they'll have a reporting thing, and you can just put a brief description what it is. They'll ask for like the website, the URL, the who it's from, if it's an email, and then they keep a database of that and can compound a case and what kind of scams are going around so they can notify the public. Hearing no further questions, thanks everybody for coming in.
Familiarize yourself with what your credit card company does too.
Correct.
Wade Johnson. So, friend of ours, and he was in California for meetings, and his bucket list was to play Pebble Beach. And so he checked out of his hotel. He went down to the golf course, bought a pair of pants and a couple of shirts, which is a high-end place. And, paid his caddy and his green fees, and pretty soon he got a call from the office, the credit card company, and called his office and asked if things were all right.
Yep. A lot of times if you're going on extended trips or anything like that to where it can be out of country or to locations, a bucket list place that you're not going to go on a regular, you can let your credit card company, your bank know beforehand that you're going to be making a few unusual purchases to not flag, so you don't have to deal with those phone calls. But banks and credit cards are getting pretty good at being able to flag some of these conspicuous purchases and stuff like that, and they'll give you a call and stuff like that, and they may freeze your account. But calling the credit card company and letting them know that it's a good purchase is always able to get your credit card back up and running.
Well, that's getting tougher too, because now so many of the companies like MDU and that want you to go online and pay your bills.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know if you're paying it. You get a bill from MDU. It's hard to tell if it's the real site that you're getting.
Yep. And that's where reaching out to your company or your local office just to verify if it's how they're doing payments and everything like that nowadays, just doing that little bit of extra work just to make sure that your funds are going to where they're supposed to be going, because everything's getting so technology heavy to where, online pay or, use your credit card tap pay or anything like that. Just making that little bit of extra work, phone call to your local office and speaking with a person and making sure that what you received is how they do their billing is, good confirmation that everything's okay.
So,
No, but I've seen emails even come to me and said, we tried to run your bill and your PayPal account didn't work. I don't have a PayPal account.
Yep.
But I mean, that's what a lot of people do, and they don't check that. They just,
Mm-hmm.
I gotta do
Yep.
this.
I did too in the last 3 days.
They do.
Yep. And PayPal is one of the big online ones to where people will try to use PayPal for a secure checkout as a third party to hold onto your money, which is a smart idea in the fact that, they insure up to a certain dollar amount and, will do transactions, refund transactions. But always be careful when using those kind of sites and verifying that the email you're getting is from the true account, to where we've seen scams to where they try to spoof an email that is really close to the PayPal email, but just off by a few letters or whatever else, to try to pretend to be them and say that, your payment's late or anything like that. And, follow-up phone calls or emails not provided by an email or by something that you've received just to verify is a good idea, because clicking on the email will once again redirect you to a possible spoof site or something like that. So starting from ground zero and doing your own research to get to where you're supposed to be going is a good idea.
So MRES,
Thanks, bye-bye.
You know,
Okay.
concerned with the grid, you know, it's really pretty serious stuff.
Mhm.
So we get training once a quarter, no before.
Mhm. Yep.
Anyway, what happened in, there are 61 communities in the MRES Joint Action Agency, and a cyber attack was at one of these communities, and they got into computer, because the weakest link in the whole deal is the person, because you know the machines are pretty good. But anyway, so they got in and left the worm, and it found its way to the CFO, and somehow got into his or her computer and email. Oh yeah, it came in through email, left the worm, and then they changed one letter someplace and set up a. So when the deposit was sent to the bank, it went there, and they were so down after that. So that the next time it happened, they followed. They recognized it and they followed it. Well, they followed it to the bank, and the second one hadn't been there yet, but the first one's still there.
Oh,
It's
jeez.
like calling up the drive up window to, you know, have much money there. But anyway, I mean, some of the stuff that you see on that note before is
Mhm.
crazy.
And if there are anybody with any questions at all, please reach out to your local law enforcement agency, and we can advise on, you know, if something may be suspicious or anything like that. Just to give, you know, a little peace of mind. If you have any questions at all, we'll answer those questions when they come.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised here. I didn't realize that you guys were in there in that depth.
Mhm.
So thank you.
You know, we had a weird thing on our credit cards this last time. It was a $4.50 charge in Bethesda, Maryland. And it was the day we were coming back from Arizona. So I called our credit card company and said, what is this $4.50 charge? She goes, well, you made another charge on that day. I said, we were in Scottsdale coming back from Scottsdale. We were not in Bethesda, Maryland. She goes, well, you tapped your card for $4.50. No, we didn't. She goes, well, it's the same day as your other transaction. And I said, but we weren't there. But you couldn't get in. And then I finally thought, $4.50. I'm not going to keep arguing with her, but made me kind of uncomfortable because she just said, well, your card was tapped, but I can't tell you what it was for.
Mm-hmm. And we've had some of those to where they use Square credit card readers and stuff like that, to where they make a different account and it gets wired through a different state to pay for something. So that's just one of those deals to always be watching your accounts and making sure that you know what purchases there are, and go from there. And yeah, if you have any questions, call and try to verify, because yeah, hopefully they don't say that you purchased it and can look into it a little bit more and try to make you feel better as a customer.
A $5 alert is pretty cheap.
Well, nowadays, the technology is so good that I can actually walk by you and pull your credit cards off the machine just by walking by.
Yep, and they sell RFI blocking wallets and different things like that, or card holders, just for those specific reasons now, because technology is getting to the point where it's really handy and really nice to use, but ways people are using it can also be a little scary at the same time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've done this, but when our aunt was alive, she lived in Bridgeview. And if you do a class, I would go there because it's amazing how many of those old people get calls and they don't know what they're about.
Yep. We have one set up for St. Raphael's here coming up in September. Put on a presentation for residents there and stuff like that. But yeah, Bridgeview and a few of the other places would be a good place to go.
Because
Spread the
they're
word.
more active
Mhm.
Bridgeview and
Yep.
the other one.
Yeah.
And St. Raphael's is,
Mm-hmm.
because our aunt was always getting calls and we just got her to the point that don't answer the phone.
Yeah.
Almost, you know, you recognize the number, we had to spell out all the numbers for her on the print.
Yep.
So she could see it.
And unfortunately, yeah, they look for a specific demographic for different scams to try to target ones that are, more susceptible. And unfortunately, a lot of times it does end up being our elderly population.
And what people don't realize is that people want to say, well, how did they get all my number and all that? But the way these companies sell their contact lists nowadays,
Yep.
I mean, it's easy to get numbers.
Yep. Yeah, you get phone numbers through so many different things. Because you register for any sort of, say, Walmart account or something like that to get discounts. You're putting in your phone number nowadays, and that will share with its fellow subgroups that are affiliated with it, Sam's Clubs, whatever else, and stuff like that. And phone numbers and stuff are not a hard thing to get nowadays anymore, unfortunately.
So thank you, Lacey.
No, thank you.
Thanks for the invite, and if there's anything else in the future, feel free to reach out to me or any of our other local law enforcement, and we'll help you out.
Thank you, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.